Hey guys, it is Kevin here on the BusanKevin channel, making a kind of a year in review, walking, talking video blog, just walking through a truck stop parking lot here. So I'm filming this on my new iPhone 6s, which I got yesterday, so hopefully the picture quality is better than it has been in the past. I am going to upload this directly from the phone to YouTube via Wi-Fi. If you guys are familiar with my BusanKevin channel, that's where the bulk of my videos go. Most of my videos go to that channel. Those are like unedited videos that go straight up using the phone. That's what I'm going to be doing with this one. Yeah, so what can I say? It's the start of a new year, 2016. Now, first of all, I am not the kind of person who makes resolutions. I don't do New Year's resolutions. I never have. Don't do it. That's a load of hooey in my opinion. We can always try to make ourselves better. That's something we should always strive to do. But I want to look at last year. Last year in YouTube, last year in podcasting, last year in my life. Last year was a pretty rough year for me. It was a really difficult year. I would almost describe last year as probably one of the worst years I've had in memory. And the reason is I had a lot of health problems and just a lot of really bad luck. So let's rewind back to actually around August, September 2014. I started feeling pain in my abdomen. And it was a strange pain. I'd never felt anything like it. And it progressively got worse throughout August, September, October. And it seemed like I had a lot of symptoms of what is called an inguinal hernia, which is essentially when you get a tear in your abdominal wall. And as that tear gets bigger, and this is really gross, guys, basically your insides start coming out of that hole. Your intestines. And they start going places where they shouldn't be going because they're supposed to be inside your abdomen. Sounds painful, huh? It is. So I went to my local GP here in Japan who speaks fluent English. And he told me I have a weak abdominal wall, but it wasn't a hernia. So he gave me some medicine to kind of settle my stomach, and he says it should just don't ride my bike for a little while and take it easy, don't exercise a lot, and it should be fine. It didn't get better. It got worse and worse. Went back again. I said, I really think I have a hernia. I've been researching this. And he actually got kind of upset with me for self-diagnosing. And he was kind of offended by it. He said, listen, I know what I'm doing. I've dealt with thousands of hernias during my career. You don't have a hernia. So then things got worse and worse. I was living in chronic pain. New Year comes around, 2015. My beautiful little girl, my beautiful little boy are doing well. They're growing up well. My wife's doing well. I get a new job position, essentially promotion where I work, and very happy about that. New learning experience, new things to take on, new challenges, teaching older students, good stuff, just what any teacher wants in their career, something fresh to motivate them, inspire them, and get them fired up. So that was a positive thing, no doubt about that. But I'm living in chronic pain, and this chronic pain is just getting worse and worse. And eventually, it's very clear to see, if you look at me, there's something very wrong. So I was wondering, do I have celiac disease? Do I have colitis? Do I have some kind of gastro thing? It's got to be serious. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And eventually, April comes around, the beginning of April, and I'm in such agony. If I'm not laying down on my back, asleep, if I'm basically not on my back, unconscious, I am in agony. And it's almost impossible to work, but I do, because I gotta earn a paycheck. I'm taking it out on my own kids. In other words, I'm just grumpy all the time and surly, and my wife, because I'm in chronic pain, and I don't have anything to alleviate that pain either. As far as medicine goes, or medication, which I suppose, looking back in retrospect, made me really tough, really enhanced my tolerance of pain. But yeah, so eventually I end up in the emergency room. Saturday night, I'm like, I can't take it anymore. I'm in tears. My wife's like, you got to go to the emergency room in the morning. I go in the morning, and they immediately look at me and they're like, you have a friggin' massive hernia. A bunch of doctors come in, they're like, they check me, they do an ultrasound, they're like, you have a massive hernia, you got to see a surgeon. And they book me to see a surgeon just a couple of days later. I go in, he's like, yeah, you got a massive hernia. This is bigger than most we've seen. You must be in agony. Yeah, I'm in agony. Okay, you have to have surgery. But because it's such a common procedure, there's a waiting list. So I was on a waiting list for basically 5 weeks. I get into the surgery. I have surgery. They fixed me up, and the doctor was basically convinced I was going to have a double hernia. He's like, you got to have one. You got one on one side, this really massive one. I really think you've got one on the other side. You can't find it with the ultrasound, but I think you do. And they do the laparoscopy, so they go in there with the camera. And he checked it out, and he said, actually, you don't. I thought you did, but you don't. We couldn't find one. Well, so that was at the end of May, my surgery. Go through the year, winter vacation. I start getting that familiar pain on the other side. I'm like, oh no, I think I got a hernia. That hernia that the doctor talked about, yep. Sure enough, went to the hospital, full day of tests. I do have another hernia, needs to be repaired with surgery. The doctor says he wasn't surprised, he expected it to happen because my abdomen was quite weak. So, I don't know, probably the end of February, I'll be going in to have that repaired. Yay! So bad luck from 2015 is carrying over to this year. But. So, things that were, not all things were bad. My kids are awesome, my family's awesome. I got a new iPhone 6S. I'm very happy about that. My wife got hers too. She had a lot of problems with hers in the last 24 hours trying to get it set up, but finally she did, and I see a smile on her face for the first time in 24 hours, which I'm very happy about. Let's see, the podcast, the Just Japan podcast did well. We were nominated for a podcast award at the beginning of the year, which we were up against some really big podcasts, so we didn't win, but that's great that we were nominated, and it's trucking along. There's a few weeks I missed in the fall because of not being well in my work schedule, and near the end of the year, kind of October, November, the listenership kind of went down a bit, but in December it really came up again, so I'm very happy about that. I've got some great guests lined up for the next month or two, which is really fun, and I'm really enjoying the podcast, and I really appreciate you guys liking the Just Japan podcast and supporting the Just Japan podcast, because that's really my bread and butter, and that's really my passion. Like, it's my podcast is not monetized in any way. I don't make money. I've got some kind contributors on Patreon who help alleviate the server costs and stuff. So I've got some wonderful people who support the show on Patreon, and that money goes to paying for my Libsyn server, my SoundCloud Pro account. I've got the unlimited account. That's so I can have it linked onto things like gaijinpot.com. The podcast appeared a few more times on Gaijinpot, and our relationship's come back. There's nothing wrong with our relationship, but you're going to start seeing the Just Japan podcast on Gaijinpot a lot more often, which is great because a lot of people come on that way to gaijinpot.com or blog.gaijinpot.com. Yeah, so another thing too, if you've been following me for some time, you'll know that I was an avid marathon runner, and I took a hiatus from running for a while because of having a new child, my daughter, a few years back. And then because of all the health issues from 2014 until present, I haven't been able to run. The thing is, before I realized I had this new hernia, I'm like, I'm going to get running again. I'm going to run a full marathon in 2016 in the fall, maybe even the spring. I registered for a 10K in February. And then a few days later, I discover I had a hernia, and the doctor's like, you do not run. If you run, you're going to make it so bad, so quick. So I paid registration for a race that I can't run. Maybe I see if I can give that registration to someone else. If anything, I'll go and get a t-shirt for that race that I didn't run because I paid for it. And once I recover from this next operation, I'm going to be running again, and I'm going to, I'm applying for the Osaka and Kobe Marathon. I'll run one of them. And once I'm healed, I'll be running again, guys. And this fall, it's not gonna be a matter of like doing good in the marathon or being fast. It's a matter of just doing it and finishing it and getting out there and losing some weight, because you guys who've been following me for some time, I'm sure you've noticed in the last year or so, I've gotten a bit stockier, we'll say. And a lot of that has to do with just my lifestyle. I was someone who was very active, very fit, exercised a lot for years, and then the last few years I just haven't, but I still eat like I run 80 kilometers a week. I still eat like I run 90 kilometers a week, but I don't run anything a week. Yeah, so the new year is upon us. I got a new phone with great cameras. That's nice. I've been really getting into my nature photography, guys. I've been really getting into nature photography. Check out my Facebook page, the link's below. Birds of Kansai no Tori. Even if you're not into birds or anything, I think there's some pretty cool shots there. And I'm gonna throw my hat. I'm gonna enter some of my photos and my insect photos in some photography contests in 2016. I got some pretty cool insect photos. A lot of cool stuff here in Japan. And we'll see how that goes. I'm excited about that. So I'm excited about the podcast. I'm excited about my wildlife photography as that develops. I'm very new to it. I'm excited about getting fixed. And the great thing is not like, I mean, getting fixed as in like my hernia. You know, the last one was something that I languished with for months and months. This one I caught it really early because I knew what it was immediately. And I went to the doctor and I'm like, the surgeon, the hospital, I'm like, I think I got a hernia. And he's like, yeah, you got a hernia. And he said, luckily it's really small. That's why I'm walking around like this, not wincing. But no bicycle. As you guys follow me, you'll know I'm a bicycle commuter. I've been told, well, it's just common sense. My wife, more than anyone, told me, you're not riding your bicycle anymore. So I bought a train pass. And for the first time in 2 years, I will, on a regular basis, commute to work. So there we go. 2015 had some hardships, but there was also a few positive things in there. 2016 will be a bit of hardship in the beginning, but I think there's gonna be a lot of wonderful things happening in the future. And most of that's because of you guys out there who listen to the podcast, who watch my videos, who support me, who comment, who share in the community on the Facebook page. Follow me on Twitter, all that jazz. You guys are awesome. So take care, and I hope you all have an amazing 2016, and I hope you have a happy and healthy one as well. So stick around for more videos to come on this channel, on my other channel, the BusanKevin channel. That's my blogging channel. That's where there's tons of videos on there. So check them out. All the links are below, guys. Check them all out below, and subscribe to the channel for more. All right, guys, that's it. Kevin in Japan, and not such a pretty place. It's a port. It's an industrial port here in Japan, near where I live. I don't live in the port, but I live near the port, and I'm walking through the port because, you know, that's what you do. All right, guys, later.